I guarantee you may not recognize that when you shut down your willingness to love, for example, in certain types of situations, you will start to crave sweets because the sugar is going to give you a false version of who you would be if you were just choosing to love no matter what. The sweetness of your life would be there, so you wouldn't be craving it in a false externalized form. That's how it works. Everything is energy. Hello, and welcome back to the Art of Awakening podcast, where the art of living awake becomes a daily practice. I'm your host, Dr. Sue Morter, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Today's question is, what if desire and cravings and struggles are not obstacles, but invitations instead? What if they are guiding you to uncover the vast universe within you? Take a moment to pause. Think about a time when you felt a deep desire, deep wanting, a deep craving of some sort, or a perceived struggle that felt overwhelming, something that you just are wrestling with, constantly thinking about it, or it's on your mind, keeping you awake at night. What if those moments weren't distractions, but they were actually messages? Well, that's what we're exploring today with all of this, how these experiences are invitations to step into your authentic power and to live in alignment with your highest potential. So let's take a look. What we know is that desires are not obstacles. They are stepping stones toward awakening. They are oftentimes misunderstood as distractions. They are actually invitations to explore deeper layers of your consciousness. There's nothing wrong with having a desire. It's the attachment that bothers us. It's the attachment that gets in the way. Oftentimes in many of the deepest teachings that they talk about desire leading to suffering and that that's the problem for humanity. That's where suffering comes from. But desire is an initiation. It's an activation of something that wants to be on the rise. And so we interpret that as a desire. Now, what we do with that is very different. If we are in constant pursuit of wanting and trying to get something on this external life level after we have this desire, then it's going to take us into a particular life experience that's not going to end up pleasant for most of us most of the time. But if we take that desire as an impetus, as a springboard for us to then recognize that, hey, if I have this desire and it's a desire, not a description of my current life, it's a circuitry issue. I don't have enough circuits in place to be manifesting this thing that I'm desiring, or it would already be manifested. So I need to utilize this as a flag to show me, hey, there's another set of circuits that I need to put into place. I need to get an energy flowing through my life in a way that it isn't currently, or I would be manifesting these things the moment that I am desiring them. I would be becoming aware of greater and greater abundance in my life all the time. This is what we're actually here to do. And it's what we're actually here to recognize is possible for us. And this is how we're supposed to use desire as an invitation into a deeper aspect of our consciousness. So we have to shift our focus from the external fulfillment to internal realization. And when we do so, everything changes. So ask yourself, what is this desire calling forth from within me? What's it asking of me? Not, where do I have to go to get this thing fulfilled? Who do I have to meet? What better job do I have to get? Where do I have to move to? It's not that. The desire is an energetic recipe. It's a combination of energies that are coming together and rising up. They've broken free and they're popping up into your consciousness. They're rising up from deep inside. They're bubbling up. And so when you become aware of a desire, you wish, you want this to happen, you really feel it, it is because it's representing a part of you that you've not yet come in contact with, not on a regular, consistent enough basis. And so it hasn't manifested yet. So we have to learn how to explore deeper within to allow for these energies to flow. Here's what you can do. Automatically think about, how would I feel if this desire was manifested already? How would it feel inside of me, physiologically, deep in my body? Not just descriptive words that you can say in your head, but how would you feel physically if this was already manifested? because that's going to take you as a clue into the parts of you that you have been ignoring, that you haven't been enlivening and awakening, stirring, and integrating into the rest of who you are. And so as you do, you start to vibrate at an entirely different frequency, and the next thing you know, you're manifesting these things automatically, almost effortlessly. And so we're going to talk more about that. So also I want to talk about cravings. They're signals from the body. It's the same thing. It's the body's version of such. Addictions arise from disconnection from the soulful self. So when we are craving something and we become addicted to something, it is representative of a version of ourselves that we've not been honoring. We've been shutting down a part of us, and by shutting down a part of us, we crave some mimic, some imposter version of that vibrational frequency. Oftentimes it comes in the form of food or drugs or some activity that keeps us busy doing, because it generates adrenaline in the body, and the next thing you know, we're feeling some false sense of fulfillment, but it doesn't last, so we have to turn around and do it again. But the craving in and of itself is your friend. If you start to recognize, man, I'm craving this all the time, I do this every day, it's on and on, it's happening. When we're operating out of reactivity on that, we're missing a beautiful form of guidance in our lives. I guarantee you may not recognize that when you shut down your willingness to love, for example, in certain types of situations, you will start to crave sweets, because the sugar is going to give you a false version of who you would be if you were just choosing to love no matter what. The sweetness of your life would be there, so you wouldn't be craving it in a false externalized form. That's how it works. Everything is energy, and we're either allowing that energy to flow in its natural way, and we're not interrupting it and stopping it because of past wounds and experiences that we have developed patterns and habits and beliefs about safety and how we should operate in the world. We're either doing that or we're not. And when we stop doing that and we start allowing this energy to flow in our lives freely and being willing to allow the truth of us to action without attachment and expectation, and we become so grounded and centered in our lives that that becomes possible, life unfolds completely differently. And the addictions that you have a hard time breaking, they dissolve easily under the influence of you flourishing that energy in your life without, however you have learned to adapt and to reach for those addictions that you have. I've had many a friend have, over the years, have a problem with drinking too much. And if I looked into their lives, I could see the denial that they were generating about themselves and their goodness and their fullness and their wholeness based on circumstances that I could trace back on stories that they had shared with me about their childhood. And so in their childhood, they developed some sort of idea about self because of how their father spoke to them or how their mother, didn't or did, or whatever the circumstances were. And it developed an imprint. And that engram is stored, and we run that process through our minds constantly. And so we act and behave as if it's true 30 years later. We're missing some stuff. We're feeling it vibrationally. So of course, we're reaching for something to give us some false sense of self or to numb out the pain that we're experiencing by denying these parts of ourselves. So when you go inside and you start dropping in and breathing, and you start learning about these anchor points and breathing in the central channel, and you start recognizing the deeper truths about your own divinity, your own wholeness, what you're made of, and how this whole process moves through you, and how there's a constant sense of support here to allow you the opportunity to open up those valves that you shut down all those years ago, and to allow something more magnificent to flow through your life. When you start realizing that these things are happening, and you will by staying plugged into this podcast, you'll put these pieces together. And when you do, you start being able to soften the reaching for this or for that as a repetitive sort of medicine of some sort. You don't need the medicine. You are the medicine. You are the medicine. I'm the medicine. It's flowing right through me all the time. And so when we begin to reconnect with the soulful self, these things begin to shift automatically. So a craving is an invitation for you to start to pay attention more deeply and to realign. So what we have to do is integrate. We have to reintegrate. Just want you to get in your mind, the purpose of my life, is to accept and honor my magnificence and to live it out in every way that I can dream up. The purpose of my life is to awaken to my magnificence and to awaken to my creatorship and my capacity. And the only way I'm ever going to get that is to start integrating the parts of me that splatted and dispersed and got cloaked and tucked away, and the things I shut down the valves on and turned off and suppressed, to turn them back on and to allow them to be alive and to find a graceful way to do that. So integration is a harmony of mind and body and breath. And if you can't get your mind to do it alone, it's because the mind isn't designed to do those things on its own. When you connect your mind with your body and your breath, together they are more. Together they generate an entirely different vibrational frequency. The body tethers your mind down into slower alpha earthly frequencies so that you can feel and sense what's true for you. Instead of just living in your head alone and trying to figure it out and get smarter, you drop down and get wiser, because in that wisdom, all of that intellect that you've already been cultivating in your life actually takes on a really great role. It actually gets to be implemented. You actually get to live and benefit from all the things that you've already learned how to do that have kept you busy all your life. You're going to actually flourish. That's what you're meant for. It's what you're meant to be doing. So when we do this, we become a cohesive whole again. We gather ourselves back from the splat, mind, body, and breath. Just envision them coming back together from different directions and landing in the central core of your being, and breathe some life into it. So the body is a source of intelligence in and of its own, something that you can't get out of a book. It's the way to live and to implement, and it is how you translate your true path. You have to keep your mind in your body. You have to breathe in your belly and be aware and use those anchor points to stay grounded, because when you do, everything changes. Your ability to perceive and your perceptive field transform automatically as a byproduct of that. Distortions are removed from the field, and the next thing you know, you become super, hyper vigilantly aware of all these things that you've been doing to disempower yourself, thinking that it was the fix that you needed. Anchoring consciousness in the body and using breath to move energy, this is all essential for releasing these blockages that we've conjured up in our minds and for cultivating healing on every level in our lives. Conscious breath truly mediates between mental awareness and physical sensation, helping us to drop the thoughts that we've been thinking, and to drop away from the whole thinking world altogether into an embodied, loving presence. When you are that, you're available to play, you're available to be creative, you have solutions, you're available to come up with projects that are actually going to work in alignment so that you don't have to beg, borrow, and steal to make life happen, to make it work. You don't have to sell the soul. You don't have to sell out. You can actually follow your authentic path. And I know people that are in their 60s and 70s that are just learning how to do this. And it's time for you. If you're in your 60s and 70s and 80s and whatever, in your 90s, we have people in this community of all ages, in their 20s and their 30s, getting a hold of this ahead of time before they go through decades of suffering. It is never too late, and it is never too early to start living as the true soulful self. It is never too late, and it is never too early to actually embrace the bigness of your being, to actually enliven the quantum self and allow it to become a living, breathing truth in this world. It's never too late, and it is never too early. Just come into your body and anchor and allow the deepness of your soulful self to have a voice. You'll find yourself speaking into things that you never could before, with grace and ease and love and compassion, instead of fear or having to take a stand and just spit it out and stake your claim. It's not like that. You don't have to fight for it. You do not have to fight for it. The mind, thinking alone, thinks it has to fight for it. Draw your boundaries, stake your claim, let them know how you feel. Yeah, okay, that's one way. But there's another way that's beautiful and enriching and allowing for your life to heal and your body to heal and for you to flourish in love. Love is so much easier when you're in your body than when you're not. And so if you're having a hard time loving, you're not in your body. If you're having a hard time forgiving, you're not in your body. If you're having a hard time finding solutions to problems that are long-standing in your workplace or in your personal relationships or in your family dynamics, you're not in your body. And it isn't that they have to get in their body, because it only takes one to change a dynamic. It only takes one, especially when you're the leader in your life, and you are. That's what you're here waking up to. That's what the Art of Awakening is all about. It's allowing you to become the leader of your life, and as such, you become a creator that you truly are. You're made of creative energy. There's no part of you that cannot transform anything. But I guarantee if you're struggling with getting something to transform in your life, you're putting your power on other. You're othering your power. You're wanting them to change. You're wanting them to say. You're wanting them to shift. You're wanting them to do differently. And all of that takes all of the photons out of your core and throws them on to something else. So if you want the power back, you got to bring those little packets of energy back onto you. So you have to keep your attention on the self. Stay on the self. Stay on the self. And allow the truth of you to have a space to become. Practices such as central channel breathing, directing your breath up and down this central channel, allow you to enliven all levels of consciousness in your body. You know, in regular speak, that's like aligning your chakras and getting them harmonized and attuned to one another. But there's so much more to it than just a little wheel of energy. It's about a level of consciousness. Yes, they each produce their own chemistries, and they each produce and contribute to your own ability to perceive differently. And together, collectively, in an integrated fashion, you become the wholeness of your being again. So it awakens this energetic flow between the root and the crown and even far beyond. I'm currently writing a book that is about a 12 chakra system that takes us beyond the body and truly investigates and explores and celebrates the part of you that is beyond what you've considered yourself to be. The invisible anatomy becomes enlivened and awakened. So I can't wait to share that with you. That'll be coming up in the spring. So we're all about, in the meantime, clearing all the interference and unifying mind and body and breath in a coherent stream of consciousness as much as we can. So bring your attention into the body often and notice, notice, is there a knot in my stomach, a lump in my throat? Go into that knot, go into the lump and explore it. Ask it what it's all about and start to breathe with it. And other techniques, deep techniques that I teach inside of my coursework about learning how to build circuitry around all of that so that we can support the unfoldment, the unpacking of those knots and those lumps in the throats and all of those encapsulations that occur when we start suppressing our deep truth. In the meantime, ask some questions. What role do desires and cravings and struggles play in your life right now? Do you try to avoid them? You're getting away from them? Do you not understand them? Or are you allowing them to create addictions and ways of being that breed frustration and irritation and agitation and a feeling of not feeling good about yourself? All of that's wrapped up into one misperception that all of this is happening because you're not capable of anything better. It's not true. It's just the wholeness of you is underneath that layer. So drop into your belly. How do I get there? What do I do? How do I get to this deeper part of me? It's the most common question that everybody asks. Start breathing in your belly. Learn the anchor points of Mula Bandha and squeezing the blades and rolling your eyes and constricting the throat in just a way that allows that breath to move up and down the channel. And, it happens. You get in there. It happens. You drop into a deeper version of yourself and you kind of wake up one day and you realize, I feel a lot more comfortable than I used to. I don't even know what happened really, but I'm living more deeply in my body. I'm feeling a greater deep sensation in my core. I actually feel and I like it. So do you see struggles and cravings and desires as obstacles or invitations? What might these moments do if you approach them with curiosity and compassion? And there's the question. So it doesn't have to be big and complex. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be elusive and over there somewhere for other people who are into all this stuff. It's for you. It's for you too. Just whisper to yourself, it's for me too. It's really for me too. Sometimes it's as simple as just pausing and breathing and asking, what is this calling me to know? What's it showing me? Where is it inviting me to drop into? Because all of it is always attempting to bring you back home to the true essential self, the truth of you, the reason that you came. So let's have that. I want to thank you again for spending time with me in the Art of Awakening podcast today, where we're blending science and spirituality to empower you to truly create a life that you truly love. And I hope this conversation inspires you. I hope that you can start to see your perceived struggles not as obstacles at all, but as invitations to uncover the vast universe within you. You're made of the entire cosmos. There is nothing missing, nothing broken, and nothing wrong. It is right here for your creative capacity to start to generate something you truly love. So don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your friends and help us build our community around the world. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of people around this world listening in, participating in this work, and it is such a joy to bring us all together. And for me to be a part of that is a great honor in my life. So until next time, I'm Dr. Sue Morter. Blessings to you all. Namaste, and I will see you again soon. Much, much love. Bye-bye for now.